The issues affecting you. Revealed, explained, discussed. Now on WGAL 8 in Focus.
Hello, I'm Susan Shapiro. Welcome to Longwood Gardens in Chester County. A Longwood Christmas is well underway here, but this year Longwood Gardens is debuting its new features, a Longwood Reimagined. It's an expansion of 17 acres with new buildings like this one, gardens, and amenities. We'll take a look at what went into that years-long expansion, and we'll look at the Christmas displays here as we put the holiday season at Longwood Gardens in focus. We are here in the West Conservatory at Longwood Gardens. This is a 32,000 square foot glass house, and it is just open to the public. With me now is Kenny Silveri. He is the West Conservatory manager. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, no problem, anytime.
As I said, a glass house. This is quite large and quite beautiful. What was the intent here?
We want to have a Mediterranean-inspired garden that people can just enjoy and, give us a different feel than the main garden, main conservatory.
This is very quiet and kind of meditative. Was that the aim too?
I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, you do definitely come in here and you hear the sounds of the water. We have a relaxing, colorful landscape. It's just a whole different feel.
What was it like to help design and to have this this huge thing built?
It was a lot of work. It was, as you can imagine. It took a huge team. We had a great team working on this. A lot of contractors, a lot of Longwood. We had multiple people from all over just helping us out with this. And we pulled it together right before we opened, so we got it done and it came out amazing.
Your eye just goes to the sky.
Oh, yeah.
It's just an incredible height too.
Oh yeah, this is a huge glass house. I don't remember the exact height of in here. 47 feet? Yeah, it's quite tall, I'd say.
So tell me about some of the, you brought in trees and plants from other parts of the country and the world?
Oh yeah, yep. So we had a lot of trucks come in from California. These palms came from Florida, but for the most part, most of our plants did come across the country in trucks from California.
And how hard is it to maintain and keep them growing here? I noticed before we started, you're checking some of the plants. I guess you walk along and check things out.
Yeah, it's quite different from your normal plants that we would have in the hotter greenhouses or the conservatories. We do keep this one a little bit cooler. So California plants or Mediterranean plants want to have a cooler summer and kind of a wetter season for the winter time. So we do have to keep it drier in here in the summertime, so plants won't look they have a harder time than our tropicals would. But in the winter, that's when they really shine, because that's basically their time to grow in the Mediterranean season when it actually rains more over there.
Now you said dry, but water is a big part of this too.
Yeah.
You have a lot of water features, and the building itself is meant to be
floating on water.
Water.
Yep, exactly. If you look at it from the main entrance on the west side, you can see the water surrounding the entire building, and it also comes, inside as well.
And that kind of goes back to Pierre Dupont himself. Really was intrigued by water.
Oh, absolutely. He was fascinated with all the water features and, the technology of the time. So.
What is it about water, do you think, that has a kind of calming effect, doesn't it? The sound, I hear it now, the sound of this water.
Yep. I'm not sure, really. I mean, it is, like you said, it is a calming effect, and it definitely gives another look to the entire area, so.
What do you think about now that this is open and it is open and people are, we see people around, looking and taking photos.
Yep. I can breathe, Susan, finally. After, I've been here for a year, so it has been quite the project. It's a very proud feeling of getting this all done, and I've had an excellent team help me, so it is great to see everyone coming in and enjoying all of our hard work.
Now this is fall, and we're headed into winter. Will this evolve as the seasons go along?
Yep, so a lot of the plants that we have in here as permanent plants will be blooming more so come late winter. I'm already seeing some things budding up, which I was kind of hoping they would wait a little bit, but a lot of these things are new to us, so we're going to basically learn as we go. And I do think winter will be a lot more of a colorful season in here than summer would.
Oh, interesting.
Yep. So, it's a little backwards from our normal summer here in Pennsylvania.
And you even have cooling on the floors here, don't you?
Yes, we have the air ducts that we bring air in from outside. It's like a geothermal cooling and heating. So come winter, of course, we're going to have some air coming up, warmer air coming up through these air ducts. And then in the summer, we'll cool it off.
Because I'm thinking a greenhouse could get pretty hot in the summer.
Just a little warm in here. We do have shading, and we do have most of these windows basically open up. So it's almost like we're covered, but we're still open to all the elements. So we'll have the breezes from the outside cooling off as well.
Well, an incredible piece of architecture, and certainly
It's gorgeous.
the inside is just beautiful. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for sharing it.
Of course, anytime.
And coming up on WGAL 8 in Focus, we'll go inside another area at Longwood Gardens.
This is WGAL 8 in Focus. Coverage you can count on.
A Longwood Christmas is an ever popular event here at Longwood Gardens. It attracts about 500,000 people throughout the season. This year the theme is magic. And joining me now is Jim Sutton. He's the Associate Director of Display Design, and this is your 27th year doing Christmas here?
Correct. Yeah, this is my 17th year designing it, being the head elf.
The head elf, and you're dressed appropriately, that's for sure. Why magic, and what do you hope that people get from that?
Well, magic was a great theme. It worked very nicely with Longwood Reimagined, our new conservatory that we opened up. So it's the magic of the season. You know, it's the magic of everything that we do. And it was really a fun theme for our staff to work with.
I bet you can do just about anything with magic,
Yep.
right? We're here in the music room. Tell me about some of the items that are here.
Sure, it's very magical in here. So we tried to design this room as a peppermint gala. So when you come in, the king and queen are in residence, the big thrones are back there, and they are ready to host a peppermint gala. So the room looks and smells like peppermint. So it's a very special room to us. It's our music room. So it is a beautiful sculptured plaster ceiling, beautiful walnut paneling, and Pierre built this room to enjoy the organ next door and to host small events. So we use it at Christmas time. It's the only time that's always open to the public.
And the thrones even have crowns sitting on them.
They do. You've got to have crowns on them. You've got to be flanked by gilded dogs, and of course, life-size nutcrackers.
What can be wrong with that? And you have a huge tree in this room.
We do. It's a beautiful 18-foot Fraser fir. It's one of the things we do not tell our guests is where we get our trees from, because we work with Pennsylvania suppliers. So we're picking some of these trees out years ahead of time. So this is the Fraser fir. It came in, we lit it in place, and then we've decorated with probably well over 1,000 ornaments, and they would be from our collection. So we have a massive collection of ornaments. It totals over 60,000 ornaments, over 600 different types, and they're all divided up by color and size. And so we know exactly what we have, and then every year we add to the collection.
I was wondering how you keep track of all of those.
It does. It takes a special book and a lot of organization to keep track of all the ornaments, all the props we have, as well as the outdoor Christmas lights. We also keep them, and we're using them for 5 years. They're 100% LED, and we get 5 years out of them. So we have our Christmas experience. While everybody comes to the conservatories, it's also half outside. So we have over 500,000 lights outside, and you know, there's a lot to see outdoors, but there's also a lot to see inside. We try to keep that half and half.
Especially at night, it's spectacular.
Oh, it's beautiful outside. I mean, there's an animated show in the main fountain garden. There's a tunnel to walk through. There are big stars floating on the lake. So there's lots of things to delight outside as well.
And what about the East Conservatory and the theme of making it look like a snow globe?
Sure, another one of our big houses. And what we did in there, I've always wanted to make a snow globe. So it's kind of hard to make a snow globe in a tropical house. But what we did, we took the center of the house, we did totally white planting. It had a strip of lawn in there. We removed the lawn and we put down faux snow. So when you're standing at the end of the east, you'll see 2 package trees, and then you'll see a total white planting with snow that'll guide your eye to our widest tree under glass, and that's the tree that's seen on our patio of oranges. A very, very large tree, beautifully done with white and blue, and then it's got icicle lights hanging up above it.
The horticulture is important here, obviously, but you have to make it appealing to the eye, don't you?
Sure. We always start off by designing the beds. So that's something I just do independently, and then I work with our production team. So we're growing well over 11,000 poinsettias for our display. I try to introduce new cultivars, as well as some of the old favorites. And with Christmas, you have to have a percentage of red. So regardless of the theme, I know guests really want to see red. So we have a tendency to do a lot of red in the center walk, but then it's fun to do the other colors. Like we'll do one walkway in pink, and we'll do one walkway in white. And then poinsettias also come in green now, and yellow, and bicolors. So it's always fun to kind of work some of them in as well.
And you grow all of your own poinsettias?
We do not. We grow the big specialty ones, we grow the big standards that we do, but if we need a small bedding crop, we work with local growers and we will contract grow them, only because we just don't have enough space to produce all the crops we need.
And what about the new West Conservatory and making that look a little like Christmas?
Oh, the new West Conservatory is a beautiful crystalline palace, and it has a whole different feel inside of it. It's a Mediterranean plant palette inspired in there. So what we did in there was a very light hand of Christmas. When you go in there, there's burro's tails and orchid baskets hanging at both ends, a massive amount of them, more than we've ever hung up before. And then we also added 6 trees there, but we put the trees in the water. So we had to figure out how to make a stand to hold them in the water, how to get power out to them, and how to decorate them. And we wanted a very soft color palette in there. So the color palette in there is mostly whites, clears, and a little bit of green.
I was wondering how those trees stayed upright.
They have a nice big custom-made stand. Longwood's very fortunate that we have a facilities department that helps us with all of this. Metal shop, carpenters, painters, plumbers, electricians. So if you can think it up, there's someone on staff to help you make it.
It's amazing, yes. And a lot of volunteers help with this effort, don't they?
So many volunteers. So all staff's involved in Christmas, but we couldn't do it without our volunteers. So we have over 500 volunteers total. They work across the garden, but a lot of them are very involved in Christmas projects, like wrapping these packages. There's volunteers who take great pride in wrapping all of these empty boxes every year and making them look spectacular. And every year it's different paper, different ribbons, different embellishments, but they really help add to the display.
They're incredible. So don't take a package, nothing inside.
Nothing
right?
inside of it.
Well, thank you, and happy holidays to you.
Thank
you
you
so much for joining us. We
Same to you.
appreciate it. And coming up, we're going to take you to the fern room. We'll get a look at the tree there.
This is WGAL 8 in Focus, coverage you can count on.
This is the fern floor at Longwood Gardens. It always has a spectacular, larger-than-life display. It's been filled with floating apples, trees hanging from the ceiling, and even a street scene. This year, there is a 30-foot-tall, rather unusual Christmas tree at the center of things. Erin Feeney is a landscape architect here at Longwood, and she joins us now. This is incredible, this tree. Tell me about the design and what went into it.
Thank you. We're very proud of how it came together. Our main goal was to really celebrate our new West Conservatory that sits just outside the windows and doors adjacent to this space. So there's a really strong visual connection between this display and that new building. And so this tree was actually originally created at the Victoria and Albert Museum in London in 2012. A much smaller version by the design firm and lighting design firm Studio Rosso out of the Netherlands.
So somebody saw it there and said, hey, we can do that, but let's do it a lot bigger.
Exactly. We saw it and thought that it perfectly celebrates the West Conservatory building, but of course we had to scale it up to our space, this expansive historic conservatory space.
So what is this tree made of?
The tree is constructed of 12 miles of elastic white cording.
12 miles?
12 miles. It's kind of hard to believe. Yeah. And that cording is grouped into 168 bundles. Those bundles are pulled tight at the very tip top of the tree and then are connected at the base of the tree at that 20-foot base that floats in the water. There's 5 concentric rings of those bundles. And then all along those bundles are geometric shapes, a lot like the shapes that you would see on the edge of a snowflake, those fractal shapes. And those all relate to each other throughout the tree. They create patterns that you see in different ways as you circulate the tree in the round and focus on different areas.
And the water underneath certainly reflects those shapes, doesn't it?
The water plays a really critical role, both by day and by night, of reflecting the tree and the shapes and the illumination of the tree. And that is one of the ways that it really celebrates our West Conservatory and relates to our West Conservatory, which also sits on a pool of water and has mesmerizing reflection.
So how did you put this together?
This was not an easy task. When we chose to scale up the tree from 12 feet to 33, we really had to completely rethink the build methodology. At 33 feet, you cannot reach the top of a tree, practically speaking, any longer. So once we figured out how to build it, we knew we were going to need a large team of people to build it, and we knew it was going to take more time than we allocate, the several days that we allocate to changing over Longwood to a Longwood Christmas. And so we recruited a team of 20 volunteers, very dedicated volunteers. We had 4 dedicated staff members leading those volunteers and working with them, and we built it off-site in a location that unfortunately did not have the 33-foot tall ceiling, so we had to build it horizontally.
Oh boy, so how did you get it upright?
This was the thing that had me worried and not sleeping at night. I was most nervous about how we were going to get it over here and not only get it upright, but not create the world's largest tangle of white elastic cord ever. But of course, just a lot of planning, and a lot of labeling and slow construction, and the team pulled it off beautifully. But it was over 5 weeks of building and 250 hours of time.
Wow.
A lot of people contributed.
As a landscape architect, what's it like to be involved with projects like that here?
I am fortunate in my role that I do get to engage with artists from time to time to bring these site-specific installations to the gardens and landscapes, both indoors and outdoors. And it's one of the most rewarding and fulfilling parts of my job, and then to see them, the projects come to fruition is just fabulous.
But this is not a permanent thing. It's going to come down and be taken apart.
No, that is true, and that is sad. That is a sad day, but in its ephemerality is really the beauty too. I think of it that way. It balances all of the perennial plantings and the longer term gardens that we have here.
There's a lot more in this room too. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And to me, it sort of has a very modern, minimalist look, so to speak.
It does. It suits perfectly, and again, that's another way that it relates. But here we were really going for this central feature that was the wow, and I think we did it.
Yeah, especially the white really stands out
Yes.
among all this green. Well, Erin, thank you so much. Appreciate your time and your talent.
Thank you, Susan.
And coming up, if you plan to visit Longwood Gardens, we'll have some tips on how to do that.
This is WGAL 8 in Focus, coverage you can count on.
A Longwood Christmas runs through January 12th, but a Longwood Reimagined is here now as a permanent exhibit. I just heard a woman say, there is so much to see here, and that is certainly the truth. Jordan Cole joins me now, and she's the Public Relations Manager. Thanks so much for having us today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Susan, for coming out. As you know, a Longwood Christmas is our most popular time of year to visit. We'll have more than 500,000 guests that come.
That is amazing.
Yes.
And they come from all over, don't they?
They come from all over. You know, we get a lot of people from the tri-state area, but it expands. I think that we're a core part of a lot of people's Christmas memories, and you'll see generations coming. Everybody from the little toddlers all the way up to the grandmas and great-grandmas really enjoying what we have to offer.
Is it family friendly and kid friendly?
It is. So yes, a Longwood Christmas, we have, you know, I think everybody loves the magic of the season. Kids especially come and love to see the lights, the sounds, the music. Oh my gosh, there's so much to see. We're also accessible as well for those with wheelchairs and accessibility needs.
Yeah, and they can see just about everything that everybody else can see.
Yes. Yeah, we have about 2 miles of pathways outdoors that you can walk, and then of course our beautiful conservatory district, including where we are right now.
Yeah, there is a lot of walking. So what do you recommend in terms of preparation?
So when you're thinking about coming for a Longwood Christmas, I always check the weather beforehand, right? Is it going to be sunny and 60, or is it going to be 30 degrees? You know, sometimes you don't know. To dress in layers, I recommend wearing walking shoes, and, you know, come, you know, put your earmuffs on and your gloves, ready to go with it.
And be ready to take it all in,
Yes.
really, because it really is, the smells and the sights are really pretty incredible.
All the magic of the season you can imagine in here. You know, we have so many things to see, like our community trees and our ballroom. Those we've partnered with local art organizations on. When you're outdoors, you might want to check out our bonsai courtyard. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I've heard throughout the day here that volunteers are really a big part of all of this. How do they get involved, and what if someone does want to get involved?
Yeah, so we could not do what we do here without our volunteers. We have about 500 of them. And if you're interested in volunteering, you can go online to our website, longwoodgardens.org, find out a little bit more about that. And then, you know, they've contributed in so many ways to the work that we have done here. We work really hard on bringing a Longwood Christmas to life. Outdoors, that starts around Labor Day.
Wow.
Indoors, we do all of this in 4 days, and we couldn't do it without the help of all of our volunteers and employees.
That's amazing. In terms of ticketing, and a reservation is recommended?
Yeah, so we definitely recommend you go online to longwoodgardens.org to make your reservations in advance. The holiday season is our most popular season, so we do it by time ticketing. And what that means is that we just have a reservation time we ask that you arrive by, but once you're here, you could spend all day if you like. And certainly, you know, I think that you can spend a couple hours walking through our displays here.
So time ticketing just means the arrival time.
Time ticketing is just the arrival time. Once you're here, you can go through our conservatories, our outdoors. We have a new restaurant. There's an event space downstairs as well that's hosting a new Taste of Christmas during the holiday season, which has stations. It's an extra ticket add-on if you like.
Add-on. So what is the ticket price?
So our tickets are $43 for adults and $23 for youth.
Okay. And that gets you here for everything, right? For a Christmas, along with Christmas, and for the Longwood Reimagined.
So once you're here, you can see everything that we have. See all of our conservatories. Longwood Reimagined is included in that. So you've got our West Conservatory, the Bonsai Courtyard. You can walk through a beautiful light tunnel, see those beautiful breathtaking views of the Brandywine Valley from across the road.
And take lots of photos and selfies.
Oh my gosh, there are so many great spots to take photos here. And certainly selfies, you know, your family photos for the holidays.
Now, you obviously are public relations, but I noticed you know a lot about horticulture as well. Somebody asked about this grapefruit tree, and you said, oh yes, I know about that.
Yes, you know, you have to dabble a little bit in everything here. Behind us, we have the Oro Blanco grapefruit tree. And we actually partner with Victory Brewing Company to make a special Oro Blanco beer with our grapefruits. That's a seasonal beer, so you'll find that more in the summer, but right now we have a Christmas mule, and that has ginger that we've grown here.
Wow. And you have a gift shop here as well?
Our garden shop, fantastic place to go for shopping for the holidays. We have ornaments, we have gifts, we have puzzles and clothing, hats, should you forget it before you come here.
Lots of gift opportunities as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Just a really special place, isn't it?
It's such a special place, and I think that when you're coming for a Longwood Christmas, you have those moments where you can really just enjoy being with your family, your loved ones, your friends, taking everything in and kind of seeing what we have.
Getting a breath of nature, that's for sure.
A breath of fresh air, yes.
Thank you so much, Jordan. We appreciate your time.
We appreciate you coming out.
Thank you for joining us for WGAL 8 in Focus. For all of us at WGAL, I'm Susan Shapiro. And be sure to join us next week for WGAL 8 in Focus at 7 o'clock, right after NBC Nightly News. And you can watch each episode of In Focus, plus WGAL's latest newscasts, original programming, and more. Just download the Very Local app and stream for free on Roku and Amazon Fire TV.